As I'm sure most of you know, this past week we had our Mission Possible team down in the Dominican. They are actually all coming home tomorrow. I came home on Thursday just because of all the things going on here. 47 of our missionaries, wonderful, doing great work, finished 3 homes. If you go on Facebook, you'll see the families that we moved in have done an insane amount of work. Some of the poorest of the poor received food, people living down by the river. Just really, really, really just a wonderful, wonderful week. And very, very hot. I think the only thing that was hotter was me sitting in the Charlotte airport for 9.5 hours trying to get home the other night, right? It was crazy. I mean, honest to goodness, if I showed you the picture, you'd all go insane because it was literally like this, right? Crazy. Anyhow, that's why I have a little bit of a raspy voice here today. I want to share with you 3 very quick stories from the mission experience. So, as many of you have heard, thanks to the terrible storms that hit the region over the past year, 15 months, we had to demolish about a dozen homes. And long story short, in one of our areas, the houses are tightly packed, so rather than just rebuild houses there, we were going to plant grass and flowers and things. In a very difficult, hard life, there's nothing more peaceful, more beautiful than plants and grass and trees. Amen? So there's a guy in the region there, his name is Antonio, and Antonio actually knows a lot about flowers, plants. I mean, it's what he does for a living. Anyhow, long story short, we have demolished these houses, and in order to plant the grass, you need good soil, yes? So we literally brought in a truckload of topsoil, okay? I had to use all my first communion money to get the topsoil, right? You really do, just because. Anyhow, Antonio, seeing the soil, like, first of all, he was stunned, like, you have brought in the best topsoil. And I said to him, when you take care of the poor, you are really taking care of God, amen? So we brought the best in because we wanted to give the best to God. And what he did next was absolutely humbling. He literally took a handful of dirt and he smelled it. And he said, this is truly best. And he said, you have given the best to God. Absolutely lovely. He literally picked up a handful of soil. When was the last time you breathed in dirt? Don't answer that question. Clean your houses, right? Absolutely lovely. Second story follows right along. So obviously a huge, huge truck, 18 cubic yards of topsoil, plus we've moved all kinds of gravel and a mixture of clay and gravel called caliche. So how do you move like 18 yards of dirt? One shovel at a time, right? Right? And beautifully, as all the missionaries have learned, gravel, caliche, dirt is precious materials. So even after we're done and leave the remnants, right, they come and they pick up all the remnants because they're very, very, very valuable. Beautiful, yes? Here's the third story. So humbling as it is, on this mission trip was my brother Dave from Padua, as well as 2 nephews and a niece. Crazy, right? 5 of us from one family on this mission trip. And as I was getting ready to leave, I gathered us together and I said, how does this happen? How does this happen that 5 people, 2 brothers and 3 cousins come on one mission trip? And blurting out of the mouth of my niece, because that's what Grandma and Grandpa taught. Beautiful, yes? Why do I share those stories? Well, the first one is obvious, isn't it, right? Every day you and I need to have good soil, hearts genuinely, authentically open to the Lord. Good soil so that the seeds of God's love, the seeds of faith, can be planted, sown in abundance. Secondly, even a piece of gravel or a handful of dirt, we can all do small things with great love. We really can. And to realize that every gift we have and every gift we give is precious in the eyes of the Lord. And on this Father's Day weekend, honest and true, my family no better or no different than yours, but my parents sowed great values in our hearts. And on this Father's Day weekend, how can you really take some time to reflect deeply on the values of your parents, your grandparents, your godparents, to think deeply about those values? Because blurting out of her mouth from our grandparents, or in this case, my parents, every yes, every offering, every sacrifice. And how do we know what they are? All we have to do is look at the fruit. So look at the fruit. You'll know the values that you've been given. Look at the fruit. You'll know, better said, if you're living those values. Look at the fruit. You'll know if your heart is good soil for the Lord. And here's Antonia. It's humbling, right? When was the last time you took a handful of dirt and smelled it? But imagine if we taught and thought each person, each gift, each breath, each second is so absolutely precious. As we walk into this Father's Day weekend, reflect on the soil that is your heart. Be mindful that we can all do small things with great. We don't need to go to a distant land to do that. We can do that here and now. And honestly, consciously take time to think deeply about the values that your parents, your grandparents, your fathers, godfathers, grandfathers in particular have sown deep inside of you. As you leave tonight, you're going to have the opportunity for all the dads and men here to take home a beautiful gift, actually. There's a member in the community, he's a little bit of a woodworker, so we had to make crosses for all of our dads. And if you go into the packet, you'll see a beautiful prayer about the importance of being godly men, and also some pictures and a little update from our mission efforts. Amen?